Yo, JD here, Limitless, and as you can see, we are back on F1 2021 as always. But today, we are driving a brand new track. This literally just got released today, and this time, I wasn't on holiday. So I got to drive it with everyone else. And in this race here, this isn't the first time I've done this track. I did a few lobbies of this before, because if you're watching me on Twitch, which thank you so much to everyone who has been following or watching on there. I do my daily open lobbies, which you can watch live. We are starting at the back to see what the racing is actually like around here, because for my first few experiences, I was a little bit skeptical. So we're starting last. We've got Rusty, who is actually the world record holder currently round this track. He's a very, very fast driver here. So starting on the medium tyres, so we're going to try the alternate strategy to see what it is like. Going to this turn one really describes, well, makes me feel like it's a bit of Vietnam-esque kind of vibes I have around here. So we're trying to go around outside these cars. Do they give me room? Go around outside of this one, going off track a little bit, but the game doesn't seem to have an issue. Rusty's got a little bit out of shape, so we're going to try and take the position from him, and going through these corners you can really make up a lot of time, if you know what I mean. But my world record attempt video will be coming on Friday. I'm going to give myself a little bit more time first, because I've only driven this track really for 2 hours so far, because I really want to try and make it a good attempt. But you will see as we go through this video of exactly what I mean. So we get a tracking validation there, as we rightly should, and we're up into P15. But can you go side by side by this track? That's the question. So we're going to test this out. Go down the inside here. These guys going off track a little bit, and it's a very difficult task, but we just about make it through, and McLaren gets out of shape. Now we're up into P30, trying to hook ourselves on the inside for this very unusual last corner, but we outbrake them going through into here now and get that done very nicely. And now we're up into P10, so good progress so far, but we're having to defend quite a lot from this guy, because this straight is actually surprisingly a very long straight. It gives you the illusion like it's Vietnam last corner, but it isn't. Going through into here, I actually like these two corners, they're quite nice, but this one coming up, you can just cut it so much. And we are not doing it at the moment, because I'm trying to drive as clean as I can. Coming through into this one, we're keeping on track here, but on time trial. And you will see later in this video, I'm going to try not to extend that. As I literally just say, I'm trying not to extend it. So I'm trying to play nice and fair at the moment, trying to get through this field as clean as possible. But please let me know below what you think of this track so far. For me, I will be giving my opinions on it at the end of this video. But so far, you're on the throttle so much of the lap. There isn't really that many braking zones to do at all. And you can see the tyre wear is really nothing as well. Even on the softs, it was only 2% of that. There isn't really any difference in the wear between the softs and the mediums that much around this track here. But you can see just slight dab on the brake, you're back on the throttle again. If you lose concentration, very easy to bump into a wall. And believe me, having any sight wing damage around here and your race is over, because you just need to be throwing it into these high speed corners. But you can see we've got this guy called Color Tamas behind, seems to be quite a fast driver, and the ERS doesn't don't really lose that much of it. It's not too bad. There are worse tracks in this, but since it's so much of a flat out corner, people can just get in your slipstream and just reel you in as well. I think it's going to be a track that's going to be very hard for the driver to outdrive someone, because there's just so little braking points. It's just pretty much flat out for 80% of that, because we get our second time warning now. So those invalidations I am perfectly fine with, but there's some others which it just falls into a trap of the more you extend, the less likely you are going to get a time invalidation. So go for it here. I actually really enjoy this corner. I think this corner is actually a little bit of a challenge, but then we just have a straight until this last corner. There's only one real this one coming up here now, you got to really time this well, but you can actually cut that right part and it doesn't give you a time validation. But then we have the DRS here. I think we've got 3 DRS zones around this track on very, very fast parts of the track as well. I think in esports and maybe in real F1, I think it's just going to be very, very difficult for cars to overtake each other and to pull away from each other. That's the kind of feeling I have at this stage of playing this track. So coming through to turn 1, managing to hit the apex fairly nicely there, trying to get some good traction from ARC up ahead. See, there's no DRS zone here, so we'll have to go slightly behind going through into this corner. Then we're going to try and maybe use the grip that we're having on these tyres, because I feel quite fast around here. Going into this turn now. On the exit of this, go slow in, fast out. Now we're going to use the ERS, and there's a detection point here as well. It's a very weird place to have the DRS. This corner is actually quite nice to drive. I actually quite like using the camber of this corner. It's not for qualifying. I think it'd be quite a good track, but I think for the racing, especially when you get to a high level, it's going to be quite frustrating. I think for the reasons I said before, with the track limits, with the amount of just full throttle that you're on, it's kind of going to be like a Silverstone, where I think track position is going to be very, very key, and where you position yourself. You don't want to be the third man in the DRS train round here. That's certainly not what you want. So, see, we've got another detection point here now. Using it, I'm coming under attack. It's such a wide last corner as well. It's a very, very weird. Look how wide it is. It's so wide, this last corner. So it's really so many different lines we could do, but we managed to get a good exit from it. Getting the DRS once again, almost being pushed into the pits here now, going across the line up into P5. Who's going to blink first? Coming to, we managed to spot our apex quite nicely, and you cannot really go side by side into there unless your competitor is feeling very, very respectful. Coming through into here now, doing this quite nicely. And now we're going to come up behind SLR Alfie, who I know is a good driver himself. So this should also be good competition. And we're in a very, very good spot. I think Rusty had a little bit of an incident, and we are the highest medium runner right now. So you can see we've got a good pace at this stage. There's a bit of a gap to Fire Dolphin up ahead, but he does have a 3-second time penalty. Going through into here, this is probably my favourite corner, actually. Actually do enjoy that one. So I think in terms of driving it by yourself, it is fairly satisfying. I just think if you've got to try and catch someone without the DRS or anything at all, they've got DRS up ahead, there's not much you can do as a driver to make the difference around this track, because it really is flat out for a lot of it. It really, really is. It's kind of like Silverstone, Suzuka and Vietnam in one. That's the kind of vibes that it is giving me. But let me know what you think as well, as we're now coming up behind SR Alfie. So let's see what the DRS is like. So we'll do a 30.5. So coming into here, we're going in a little bit deep. So I'm still learning the track. We've got still plenty of time to find going around this track. It won't be really until a full week where I feel I'm at full speed around here. Doing this quite nicely. No real opportunity to overtake going through it here. If there was damage on, we would have got damage going through into that corner. But now we've got another detection point coming off here now, using the ERS. But then we have Fire Dolphin has actually made quite a big mistake. He's going to interfere in our battle a little bit here. So just right behind these two Red Bulls here now, who are both on the soft tires. So now he's going to go side by side. So this will give us another test to see if you can go side by side, and the answer is no, you cannot do it. So I try and go around the outside of Alfie here, using the ERS to try and slot in behind Fire Dolphin. And is he going to give me room to the inside? Yes, he is. So we're going to go side by side again, leaving plenty of room on this apex. We just about do it. Can we do it? Go through this corner? Very, very tight. Not much room left on the table there, but it's a very, very awkward corner to do. Now going into this incredibly wide last corner, which allows 3 people to go wide into here, which is really, really, really not what you want. trying to avoid that wall at all costs. Now getting on the DRS. It's a drag race to Lions. Fire Dolphin as he goes into the pits, and now it's just a pure drag race. Is Alfie going to go down the inside of turn 1? Yes, he does. So we leave him the room just to see if it is possible. And it is possible if you're both playing very, very fairly. Going side by side into turn 4 now. Is this possible? Not quite. Again, I think you have to be very, very compliant with each other. But when you're in a league race, this is not something you want to do. Can he go side by side for here? No, you cannot do that. But then on the exit, he's going to get the DRS on the exit as well. And there's really nothing you can do here. You're going at such a fast speed already. It's going to go around the outside. And we try and hold it for the inside. But we're still going side by side into here. And I was trying so hard to keep up ahead of him. He goes down the inside again, leaving some room. Now we're still going side by side into this corner. But even if I got ahead of him, I don't think there's really any benefit. So we actually decide to let him go. And I think it's just going to be so hard to pull away from people because there's so many DRS zones, so much straight line speed, so much time on the full throttle. Now we're going to go for the switchback here. Down the inside, we're looking for this gap. Is it going to close? Yes, it does close. And our race, we just do a complete merry-go-round through there. And I don't know what to say about that. It's an open lobby, so nothing too serious. We are testing the limits to see if you can go side by side. I think the door was closing a little bit, but yeah, this is not a league race, so you can tell we're not taking it too seriously. You can cut this pit lane, I think, which I think I will get a delay penalty. The pit crew come out at absolute light speed there. But now we're going on to the soft tyre, and I think we were in a really good position that race. For a while. As I say, it was going well, but now we're going on this pit exit, which is going to be the first time. So kind of like Vietnam again, and
oh my god!
Apparently. What? Yeah, we get 5 seconds, which I'm not really too sure how we got 5 seconds there. And I think even from looking at that, we were just about inside the white line.
Yeah, I
as
can
well.
do this.
And as I just say there, like you can extend that corner, but then it gives you invalidations for just minorly extending. So gonna have to practice those pits, because if I did extend it, then I'll look back at it again in slow motion. But for me, I felt like I was actually in the track limits there. So we got 8 seconds in the space of 30 seconds, which is pretty frustrating here. But we're going round the outside of Mighty Swan. Is he going to give us some room? And this is the thing again. You're just going flat out all the time. There's not much you can do to negate the advantage that you might have in pace, hitting the thing there. But again, going out wide there, it doesn't give you any violation. But then he has the DRS. So I just feel on this track that when you overtake someone, you've worked really hard to do it, then that person who's got overtaken just gets the reward of a DRS to then re-overtake you again. So I think it's going to be a lot of re-overtaking around this track. So now we get the DRS because he overtook us through here, and this should be quite an easy pass. So really have only like the first sector to try and pull away, and then they're really able to stick with you. So we're going to stay on board for this next 4 laps to kind of see what pace we can get. And now we're going to extend this thing. But that time it actually gives me a invalidation, which sometimes it doesn't when you can pick up. And you can see here again, going super wide here, where you do gain quite a lot of time, it doesn't actually give you a invalidation. So I think for me, the track limits are just a little bit inconsistent. And again, it reminds me of Silverstone, where if you just go a little bit wide, it gives you invalidation every time. But if you actually stick your foot in and go very, very wide, then it will not. So yeah, it's let me know what you think once again. But in terms of driving the track over a lap when you're going fast, it's fairly satisfying to get these right. It's satisfying because there isn't many areas you can really maximize your advantage. So when you do nail it, you feel good, which I think is really the case with every track. But it just feels a little bit boring when you're just going constantly on the full throttle, and that's it. You just feel like you're on throttle, full throttle for just far too long around this track. It's just a very, very weird flow. I just don't feel it has a great flow, I think is what I'm trying to say around this track here. So setting the fastest lap here now as we're up behind ERS Hamilton. Has had a little bit of a difficulty. Fire Dolphin's got 19 seconds worth of penalty, so I think he's been doing the same thing that I have been doing as well. So I'm going to try and get within his DRS zone. We're going to extend this corner, and this is definitely a place where you can gain a lot of time by doing it, and I think he has actually gone off the track there. So we're going to try and catch up to Colo Tamas, who we saw at the beginning of the race was pretty fast as well. But yeah, just let me know what your thoughts are of this track. For me, it's I think every track can be satisfying when you hook it up, but for me, it doesn't feel, compared to like Imola, Portimao, I forgot what other tracks we had last game, but it doesn't feel as satisfying as the other tracks when you really hook it up. Because like through here, we're just on full throttle so much. I think you're going to probably be running quite a low downforce around here because tyre wear isn't really an issue, and straight line speed is just, yeah, it's I just don't think it rewards the drivers who are actually driving better, I think, in my opinion. As Rusty, world record holder around here at the moment, and he does use ABS, but for me personally, I think it's all about what you're used to. So a lot of people say it's OP or not. I haven't tried it myself, so something I might try one day for a video just to see if it is OP. But I think I'd probably be slower if I first actually used it, because I'm not actually used to running ABS, because ABS you effectively don't really need to trail brake anywhere near as much as you do with the no assist. But you can see running very wide here, and it does absolutely nothing. But yet if you extend any other corner slightly, it will punish you quite a bit. So coming into this corner, really enjoy this one, but you can really just throw in so much speed, and there isn't really a slow corner in this game. There isn't enough of a corner apart from turn 1. Every corner is just so fast, and if Hamilton has this engine he had at Brazil with the same kind of power and it doesn't degrade, then I think he's going to be in for a very good time when it comes to driving this track. I just don't think the downforce, and going through it that time we actually did get an invalidation, but sometimes you don't. So again, I just feel it's just a little bit inconsistent. So coming into penultimate lap of this race, we're going to try and get behind Colo Tamas. You can use quite a lot of the battery power around here, but I think it's fairly difficult to save since you're just running on full throttle all the time, and the battery doesn't go down that badly because you're already really maxing out what your engine and your power output can do, and you're running relatively low downforce as well, because I think I was running 6.8 wings in this video. But now we actually get a time penalty, so still needing to really...
So yeah, you can do that, but this is fine.
Yeah, and then you can just extend that. So again,
it's mental.
It's, yeah, a little bit inconsistent, but I wonder if there will be actually track limits for that when we actually come up to the real life GP. But right here now, I'm just trying to get within the DRS zone of Collar up ahead. So going through it here, really do actually enjoy this corner, but very easy to lose the car on the curb as well at the same time. So coming through into here, I should get the DRS off this ghost car, this disconnected car up ahead, because I think there is 3 DRS zones coming through here. I extended it that time, but again, that didn't actually give me an invalidation. And I'm just checking to see how long his tyres have been on for. I think he pitted a little bit earlier than me as well. So coming through into here, the detection point is coming through into this corner, and I think we are 1,000th away, which we are always 1,000th away. But coming on to the last lap now, we lost a lot of time in that incident. But if we got those penalties, it still would have been a very difficult race regardless. So let's see if we have the ability to maybe actually overtake Collar going up ahead. So going through into here now, It is quite nice to drive through here, but there's really no way to overtake going through into these corners. Don't get any track limit invalidation coming through into here, but on this one we do, and that's definitely a fair one by the game. So coming through into this cabin corner, really trying to throw the car in here as much as possible, getting a good exit. So you can see we actually are gaining a little bit on the delta here. Now going to this corner, how well do we do this one? We do this pretty well, so that was very, very nice. Little bump on the wall on the exit though, and now coming through into here, kind of reminds me of an F1 version of Bathurst in a way. We are on full throttle for so much, doing a purple middle sector, doing this very nicely. Do we get the DRS on the exit? I think we were close enough. Yes, we do. Let's see how much time we actually gain with the DRS. So coming through into here, see gap is coming down quite quickly into this corner now as Lando wins the race, so GG to him. Coming off the exit here now, almost losing the car. Rusty sets the fast lap for 28.7. What do? We do a 28.8, double purple in the last two sectors, and that is our first real experience of Jeddah. So please let me know what you think of this track. Do you think it's satisfying to drive? Do you think it'll be good for league racing? Or what do you think it will be like in the real life GP as well? Make sure you follow me on Twitch for my daily open lobbies. If you subscribe there and become a YouTube member, either one of those, you will get a priority invite to these lobbies and many more benefits. So thank you so much for the support, and I will catch you very, very soon. Peace.